We got 4 thumbs up already.
Nice.
We're cruising. All right. I wonder if everybody's now. I'm in the upper right hand corner. Is that right?
Yep.
So that's me. Interview stories and tales. Down below me is George. Mountain music and mules. Right?
Yep, that's right.
And to that way, no, that way
There you go.
is Chris, antidote of a houndsman, and then that way is Cody, King Cody, king of the bobcat houndsman.
King of the wild frontier.
What'd you say?
I said it depends what day it is.
Well, we got 7, 11 people just be falling in here, Cody. Did you get it shared on your fake book?
Yeah, I posted it on there. I think. I don't know.
I posted on Facebook too, and I tagged Cody in it, so should pop up a few times on his.
Yeah. No. Yeah. It's up there. It's early. Everybody's still working. Some people got to work for a living.
Poor people.
Yeah, I always told everybody working's for poor people.
Yeah, but when you retire, it can be
Yeah,
worse.
except Brett over here, he gets to be retired.
Oh, I'm semi-retired right now as well. So I run out of money and got to go back to work.
Are you? There's a difference between being retired and unemployed.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm a subcontractor, so I'm just in between jobs, I guess.
Yeah, there you go.
And I hadn't really looked for another one, so I've been out.
I need to know how George does it.
Before I had
Yeah.
kids and a wife, I used to be real bad. I'd do a pretty good sized job, and then put a little money in the bank, and then I would disappear for 3 months, cat hunting in West Texas and New Mexico, and when that card wouldn't work no more, I guess I got to head back
Go back
home.
to work.
Yeah.
All right.
How you feeling?
Me?
Give me an update.
Feel like $1 million.
You look like $1 million.
Thank you. I
Awesome.
no blockage. I still have the electrical problem, but they got me on medicine that I don't like, but it controls it. And
I'm gonna
there goes Cody again. He just doesn't like things the way they're set
Yeah,
up.
OCD. Got to fix it all the time. One more dog.
And
well.
I got a doctor's appointment on Thursday, and they're going to tell me what they're going to do. So the blockage is the thing that scared me because I didn't know, and like you and I were talking about when you were diagnosed with cancer and you ended up not having it, you felt it all over your body, didn't you?
Oh, 100%. The doctors made me sick.
Yeah. Well, when they told me that I had an abnormal stress test, which meant that I probably had blockage in my heart, I bet I had 5 heart attacks. I mean, I felt terrible. Pains. Oh, man, I tell my wife I don't feel very good. It was all mental.
Quit being a baby, Brett.
Yeah,
Quit
well,
being a baby.
she basically told me that.
Quit manifesting it.
I went to the doctor. In fact, it's kind of back. I've been dealing with it. Went to the doctor 2 days ago, and I was given some new antibiotic pills for I call it my tumor. It's not really a tumor. And 10 pills cost $4,000. But when they diagnosed it as sarcoma cancer, I felt it, and I've told Brett this story, but I went to the doctor and I said, "Hey, I can feel the cancer. It's spreading. It's in my lymph nodes, and I'm dying. And the doctor said, "Well, man, that's bad. Let me see. You take your shirt off." And she went poking me, and she goes, "Cody, I think you're fine." And I said, "No, it's right there. It's right there. I got cancer right there." And she said, "Cody, that's a tendon. You need to stop." and so, and you can definitely worry yourself to death. That's for sure.
Yeah. Well,
And definitely don't Google it. Don't Google
no,
it. You Google it and you got
Oh,
everything.
that was
Woo,
terrible.
doggy.
I didn't ask Mr. Google nothing.
I pulled it up on Google, and the first website I looked up when I looked up soft tissue sarcoma cancer, the first one that I pulled up said start writing your will.
You're gonna die.
Yeah, you're screwed, man. So
Get off the
Yeah,
internet
yeah,
now and go to Vegas.
that's exactly right.
Yeah, that's terrible. Anyway,
Now, anybody been hunting? It's our low the last 3 days down here has been 82 degrees, so
jeez.
it's been too hot to hunt.
Nice. North
George.
Arizona, real nice.
George, he hunts every single day, and it shows. He
George-
catches a lot of bears.
George works like everybody else hunts. Everybody else goes hunts after work. George goes to work after he hunts.
So what
That
it's
is
supposed-
actually
And every now and then he slips up and he says he didn't go to work. He went fishing or something.
Yeah. How was work today? We caught 2 bears. Oh, I mean,
Oh, I was going to tell.
that's YouTube is a job now. So I work 20.
that's what all my kids are like, well, what are you doing now? I'm like, I'm a professional YouTuber. I think I got $20 saved up in my monetized.
Yeah.
You kidding me?
I was going to say, since everybody complained last time I had this about the ads, I turned off the monetization on this. So, if you find it
Super
in your
chats.
heart, super chats, man, super chats. So,
there was ads on this thing before or what?
yeah, I didn't even realize it because when I would set it up, I would turn on monetization because I make a little bit of money off of that, and not much on each video, but as accumulation of all the videos, it'll buy me some fuel to like this program cost me $30-something a month to have it, and so. But then people were complaining, and I don't blame them. They said right in the middle of our deal there would be an advertisement, so I turned it
Especially on a
off.
live.
Yeah,
Especially on a live.
yeah, and
Show videos I can understand, but on a live it's kind of annoying.
yeah.
Yeah,
But
that makes sense.
I don't think people realize how much equipment you got just right in front of you right now.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I'm low
Yep.
key. I'm low key, and I bet you I have $1,000 of stuff. I'm nothing. Just got started.
Well, I got my computer and I got the lights and I got an extra screen so I can keep track of everything, and
I got a $13 webcam from Walmart, so
It works.
I was gonna say it looks good.
fine all
I
It's
got
better
a-
than my $500 GoPro.
Yeah.
George has his phone.
Yeah,
I got a
and
cell
it looks
phone.
better than
That's it.
everything.
We're
Looks
going.
good. Looks good.
I finally got a
He's eating his out the
Jaguar
rat about the
hunt
hunting
set
rules.
up again for October. So I did get a new GoPro with the media kit and all of that stuff. So if we can manage to capture and collar a Jaguar, I'll have some video for you guys to throw up somewhere. So
I hear stories about him videoing things all the time, but I never see any video.
let me tell you, I don't know how you guys do it. I get a new GoPro and a new this and a new plan and everything's good to go, and I hear that first dog bark and shit. I don't think about that camera again till it's over with. I just I can't help it. I can't help it.
You see Nicholas trying to get in, Brett?
No, not yet.
He says let me in.
I don't know. You know what? I might have to wait because I can't have 5 people. That's why I was kind of asking who all was going to be here tonight. And George didn't respond.
Or snuck in. Oh, ask him where he was. Let's ask
So
him
I
where he
didn't
probably
bring
was.
my little laptop where I could have more than 4 people.
Well, actually, it'll probably work out good anyway because I got another 10, maybe 15 minutes, and I got to be off anyway. So
Tell Nick to hold on, to be patient. We're sorry. It's my fault. No, it's George's fault.
Oh, I thought we could have 5 on here, just not
I don't
6.
I don't see him.
Remember, because we had 5 before. Wait. Oh no, we had
Nope.
you,
Nope.
you,
The
me,
last
Nicholas,
time I
Brett,
was
and
on
George.
here, we had to kick somebody off.
Yeah, we've had 5 on this before.
Not with this computer. I brought my something with Ecamm Live
Yeah.
and this chip that's in this computer. It doesn't allow you to have more than 4 people. But if I bring my little MacBook Pro, it'll allow me to have 5 people. 6 people. It'll allow me to have up to 10.
Yeah.
But last time, remember, if you remember correctly, when I brought that little computer, I had all kinds of trouble. So
right.
remember. So Nick said he'd be all right. Yeah, we'll get him. There's Hound on the Run. He says fine. Sorry about that, Nick. Nicholas. I
You
didn't
can
mean.
hurry and talk crap about him. My daughter keeps checking his weld out. He sent me a video. My daughter's like, he's grinding. I said, oh yeah, he'll be doing a lot of grinding. It's his first time welding something.
Well, your daughter's
As long
like
as
a professional, isn't she?
she's certified welder.
I'll be dang.
She's moving back home and she's like excited to be a YouTube star again. Wants to get on. So,
Well, let's talk about leopard hunting in Africa. Tell us a good story, Cody.
I had a lot of fun.
How long were you there?
I hunted 14 days.
Wow.
Yeah, we hunted. I would think I was gone 18 days, and we hunted 14 days. And it was tough hunting. It was different than I thought it was going to be for a lot of reasons. One thing that was really cool is from the time we set foot on the ground, every bird, every bug, every tree, every plant, everything you saw was something you've never seen before. And it was almost overwhelming. It was just really cool. When you live somewhere your whole life, you kind of take everything for granted, all the thousands of different species that we see on a daily basis. And then everything's just different. It was pretty neat.
What sticks out in your mind the most that was different?
Those they call them the tree of life, boba trees or something like that. The trees that are as big around as a house, almost a couple thousand years old.
Wow.
Yeah, they were really cool. They were really cool.
Boba tree?
Yeah, I should have sent you a picture of one.
I think I got
what do
one
they use
here
those
somewhere.
what do they
Is that
use
the
those
one
for?
you were
Do they
in?
harvest those?
What do they use? What?
Do they use those boba trees for anything? Like, do they cut those down at all, or?
They make a fruit. They make a fruit.
There's Cody in a tree.
So one thing that's pretty cool over there. I mean, it's not cool, but there's illegal everything and illegal logging going on. I mean, they're terrible. terrible rate. And they were cutting down a lot of those trees. I used African dogs, Ohio hillbilly. Uh, um, they didn't speak English too well.
Either of my dogs, half the time I'm yelling at them.
Yeah, but the only thing I killed while I was there is I killed a crocodile, and
Nice.
that's the only thing I killed. We caught 2 leopards.
Hold on, I got a
Uh,
picture of that crocodile somewhere
it was and the river that we were staying on was not a. There's a boba tree right there,
Wow.
and yeah, I mean that tree there's thousands of years old, and you really think about everything that tree has seen
here.
in its day. It's pretty crazy.
Are those? What are those wires or what?
That's outside of town. Yeah, I was just
Oh,
going down the road. Those are electrical wires.
hold on just a minute. I got a picture of a. Now this crocodile.
That is a crocodile. The river is not a year-round river, so there wasn't big crocodiles, but that was the biggest crocodile there.
Well, I'll
And
find it.
right there, yeah.
What do you have to paint your face to hunt crocodiles?
When my brother saw that picture, he sent a group text saying, "Look at my brother, the gay commando." So that's been my nickname ever since I got home. But short answer is yes. These things they're laying. They sun. They just kind of lay up in the sun, but they don't lay in the most opportune places. And then you literally have to shoot them in the brain, or they're just going to fall in the river and you never see them again.
Oh,
So, and where that one was laying, I was probably 20 yards from it when I shot it. So I mean, I had already tried to shoot it and it spooked off a couple of times, and so I went all out with the mud on my face,
can you?
malaria mud, rubbing it all over my face. It
Take the
worked.
pill after. You'll be all right.
Yeah.
Do you? Did you get to keep the hide or whatever?
Yes. Absolutely. Yeah. The
Cool.
hides. It's a process to get it home, but it's coming.
Did you see
And
any bigger ones than that?
no, that was the biggest one that I mean, they get way bigger than that. I mean, that you could use that one for bait to catch a big one. They get so
Yeah.
big, but where we were, there's just not big ones.
Do they eat them or anything?
Um, where we were, and one thing that was very important to me on my trip to Africa with my father is I wanted to go to Africa, Africa. I mean, I wanted to go to the wild, and Gavin made sure that I got my wish. I mean, we were in the middle of nowhere. On the 10-mile stretch of road that we drove every day, there was probably 150 people that lived there in little grass huts, uh, that truly lived off the land. No power, no stores. I mean, they lived off the land. So short answer is, yeah, they eat it. They eat anything. They eat everything.
Yeah.
And you were a hero to the local kids. Tell us why.
Yeah, Gavin. They started Legende, which I guess means legend in Portugal or whatever. But I started throwing candy to the kids. In fact, when we ran out, I made Gavin take me into town to go buy a bunch more candy. And every afternoon when we were driving in, I'd start throwing candy to the kids. Uh, I don't think there hadn't been any hunters in that particular camp since before COVID. So a lot of these kids had not really had much interaction with white people. And at first, they kind of wanted to take off running when we stopped, and I'd just leave a little candy. I mean, they drop their stuff and take off running, and I'd throw some candy down there with their stuff, and then day 14, 100 kids come running out screaming "Lahinde" wanting their candy as we drive by. So that was probably the coolest part of the whole trip for me and my dad.
Oh, me. So, tell us about the hunting. How did a day start? How did you guys go about hunting leopards?
So um, I've been thinking about how I want to describe this because I know y'all were going to ask some questions. And one thing that I just want to say right off the bat is I'm going to, I will tell you how we did things. And I'm not saying that's the only way that Gavin or anybody else does it. That's just the way that we did it, for this particular hunt in this particular place. Um, but start the hunt off by going to some natives and giving them a little bit of money and buying a cow and dispatching that cow, cutting it up for bait.
Oh, baiting.
Um,
Okay.
we hunted exclusively over baits, um, goats and cows, and it's you know if you guys were to go to where I was and you were to pick where you think a mountain lion would be walking, it's in the exact same place that a leopard would be walking. I mean,
Really?
everything's, yeah. Uh, there's some small mountains in the sides and stuff, a lot of rolling hills, and then creek bottoms with sand in them, sandy creek bottoms. And, we'd stop at every sandy creek and look for tracks and walk up and down them. And
That didn't come out very good there.
no, that one
There it
didn't.
is.
It, I probably should have sent you some
Isn't
better
that
tracks.
amazing? That I've seen that so many times. When you find a track like that, there's a big light or something laying next to it.
Yeah, never fails.
If you just go find a big lighter, you'll find a lion.
Yeah, we found, we found a good number of 80 to 100-pound female tracks. We probably had 4 or 5 different uh, female tracks that we could find somewhat consistently, but we just couldn't find the. We found some tom tracks, and we just never had one hit the bait. The day after I left, Gavin sent some pictures,
Is that the one
and
you sent me here?
I don't know.
Oh,
Oh, the dead leopard.
yeah.
Yeah. So that was Gavin's next hunt.
Well, I'll be.
That was not where we hunted. That was over on the coast in a
Look at
different
this
area.
guy here. He looks like he could be in a magazine.
So high doses of doxycycline make you very sensitive to the sun. And my face was burnt, my nose, my ears. I was a sunburnt son of a gun. So, yeah, but
There it
that
is.
was Christian. This is the leopard that Gavin harvested after I left. Killed it, I believe, on the first day of the next hunt.
Man,
But it was in a different place. In a different place.
That looks like pretty good country right there.
Yeah,
I mean,
conditions are amazing over there. I don't think it would be amazing much longer. Their dry season's just starting. Uh, so roads were starting to get dusty and dry where you could see tracks pretty good. But but I mean, there was grass 4 foot tall in a lot of places. I mean, conditions were okay.
well, you guys did tree a leopard, right?
Yes, we caught one. We caught one, which I believe was a pretty good sized female on the ground. And then a couple days later, we caught uh, about 70-pound kitten. And the video that I sent you,
Let me see if I can
which
figure
is
out which video it is. Yeah, there we go.
Gavin took that video, not me. So don't get mad at me for poor quality. Wow, you really can't even see it. It looks terrible here. It looks a lot better on an iPhone.
Yeah, it's kind of small. Well, and you guys were quite a ways away, and that was a female.
That was a 3/4 grown kitten,
Really?
probably. Yeah, and but it gave us a run for our money. It walked a lot with the dogs. Kind of like an old bear will do. Uh, just dogs, and justifiably so. They don't want to get killed, but uh, Gavin says a lot of times they'll use dogos and stuff like that to put a little bit more pressure on them, and dogs that are a little less valuable if you do lose one.
Do they get quite a few killed that way?
It I mean, it happens more than it does lion hunting,
Oh yeah.
or for sure. But uh, one thing that was, we probably drove between 6 and 8 hours a day
Oh,
covering.
Man.
Yeah, that part wasn't the funnest.
that'd wear
I
me
mean,
out.
it was for 7 days. It was cool because you're getting to see all this new country, and then after that, it's like, call me if y'all call me if something hit the bait, and I'll come running. But uh, get up at 3 o'clock every morning and start checking baits, and about 10 o'clock you checked your last bait. One thing that was really cool is leopards eat rotten shit. And so these guys had 55-gallon drums that they would throw the cow's guts in and ferment it. And then every single day they had rags on sticks, drags, and they would drop them rags down in that bucket of rotten
Oof.
stuff, pull it out, and they would make 100-yard long drags to the bait. And them leopards would smell that drag and they would follow that drag to the bait. And that was eye opening. I didn't know leopards ate rotten stuff like that, but it was quite disgusting.
What else hit the baits besides leopards?
Honey badger
Oh,
and hyena. We baited some hyenas. Um,
Hmm.
you put the baits in a way where nothing else can really get to them except the leopard, and they're tree climbing. They
excuse me.
And one thing that's kind of cool about them too is they won't jump a tree. They won't jump out of a tree. They climb up a tree. When they come down the same way they went up. They crawl down that trunk head first, man.
Huh.
And
Huh.
but like an old lion will jump out of a limb and then take off running. They don't do that. They'll make their way out on a limb and then they'll come back to the trunk and climb down.
How how big is a big tom?
150 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean,
So
they
You know,
get
with
bigger than that. They're bigger than a mountain lion. There can be bigger than a mountain lion, but in general, where we were, they're kind of mountain lion size. Uh,
hmm,
150 pounds is a big one. They're I think they're the fourth cat. You have tigers are first, then lions, then you have jaguars here, and then you have leopards there. So they're the fourth largest cat.
man.
did you run into any lions?
No, and I actually had a tag to kill a lion.
Wow.
Uh,
Cecil.
yeah, Cecil the lion. So one consequence of me telling Gavin that I wanted to be in wild, wild Africa was I was in wild, wild Africa. No fences, no private property. I mean, it was, and because of it, there was no animals. they had been. I mean, we encountered poachers almost on a daily basis. Uh, um, we probably, I mean, there was no animals. We had a gentleman, Zach. I don't know how to pronounce his last name, Zach Pilatek or something like that. He's a Catahoula guy from Australia. I don't. Let me see if I can remember the name of his deal because somebody may want to look it up.
Scott, is that? Oh,
No,
no.
Scott Allen's someone else.
Okay.
Razorback Catahoulas in Australia. A hog hunter. Great guy. So he accompanied us on the hunt. Him and Gavin kind of made a deal, hey, I want to kill some animals, but I also want to go on a leopard hunt. But he cared more about seeing it than he did doing it. So it was kind of those, hey, do you mind if this guy kind of tags along and goes with us? And, and then at the same time, he can, wow, I froze on screen. I don't know if
You're all right.
So, and then he would try to shoot some game animals. And I sent you a picture that had some animals that Zach killed. I don't know if you can pull it up or not.
Yeah.
But Zach did not kill those animals where we were hunting. He ended up staying a few extra days, and they took him somewhere else because where we were hunting was completely poached out. And all them poachers hunt with dogs. See, yeah, he killed a kudu, a warthog, and a water buck. And but like I said, that was over kind of in some different areas where there were more poaching prevention going on. We drove around for 8 hours a day for 14 days. And I mean, I maybe saw 10 animals. And the whole time, there was just no animals. They've all been killed. They've been wiped out.
And you say the poachers hunt with dogs?
Yes, the ugliest, nastiest rat terrier cur dog cross looking mutts you've ever seen in your life. And
Sounds like mine.
but they hunt with dogs, and
I
that's
bet I bet those dogs have to catch to stay alive.
oh, if they want to eat, they catch. I
Yep.
promise you. And they run them. Them dogs. They just run them kudus and elands and stuff. The dogs just run them to death. Basically, the poachers are hunting a lot of them with homemade guns. They make their own black powder. They make their own balls. They make their own guns. I mean, most of them, when we found their tracks, were barefooted. I mean, these guys lived off the land, and but they were houndsmen, so I couldn't be too mad at them.
No, they're
They
just
were
surviving.
just doing what I would be doing if we were there.
They poaching for food or money? Both.
So that's where it gets a little, poaching for money. They meat market basically. They go out and kill these deer and stuff, and then it ends up in a meat market somewhere.
Brett, if you want to let Nicholas in, I'm gonna hop off here. I'll probably catch back up and watch y'all for a little while, but
Okay, George. Well,
George,
glad you were
good to
here.
see you, man.
We'll see you next time.
Thanks for taking a little time out of your bear hunting to come. Join
Yeah,
us.
next time, George, send us some pictures and I can show them like I
Of
did,
your work.
like Cody's.
yeah, exactly.
We wanna
Prove our
see-
work.
We just
Cheryl,
want to see
Cheryl.
proof you're working.
Yeah. Cheryl Brooks asked, can the honey badger climb? And yes and no. If you're not,
Now we lost Cody. There he is.
the honey badger cannot climb like a leopard can, but they can climb a little bit. So if you don't pick the right tree to hang your bait in, the honey badgers can get up there, and they will if they can.
They'll
There he
find
is. Hound on the run.
Nicholas the welder.
Whoop, now we lost Cody.
Oh.
Hey guys, I'm a little blurry.
You He looked prettier when it was blurry.
We
Woo,
lost
doggy,
Cody.
look at that beard. Dang.
Hey, that's a good starter kit right there.
Yeah, you're doing good.
Tell you what, an old man told me one time. He said, "You're cultivating under your nose what grows wild on my butt."
Where'd Cody go?
I
Did you
don't.
kick him
He
off?
left.
You lost him. His internet was kind of bouncing for a second. He'll be back, I'm sure.
Oh, really?
Maybe you scared
Man,
him.
I was listening in on that. That's
Interesting.
cool hearing about that trip. Yeah, that's awesome.
You know, that poaching stuff's some serious business over there too.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't
Yeah.
think they just have the resources to catch everybody. And those guys are like Appalachians. That's their land. They know what rock to hide under to not get caught.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Oh yeah, they know their way around. I'm sure.
well, they're running
I
around
thought
barefoot.
One thing that stood out that he was just talking about was I thought that leopards were way bigger than that. I picture them being like 200-pound animals.
That's like a jaguar, I guess.
Oh yeah, I always get those
I-
confused.
I don't know the difference.
That leopard
They're
in the
pretty.
picture looked beefy. It looked beefy.
That's the start of a welder's beard.
Yeah, what hasn't gotten burned off my face?
Oh yeah, you'll catch it on fire. You'll smell it burning.
Yeah, I got all kinds of burns all over me.
We lost Cody.
I had a giant chunk of something molten land on my crotch, burned a hole through my jeans, and then I stood up. I'm like, what is happening? It's like literally dancing all over the place, and it went all the way down my pant leg, so it like burned a straight line, like all the way down the back of my leg.
Yep.
Hmm.
I had one roll down my chest and burn it all the way down my belly.
Nice.
Get used to it. Get used to it.
Yeah, I do wear gloves, unlike you.
Yeah, I don't wear gloves. I have pants and shirts that are just burned up that I wear when I'm welding.
Yeah.
And then my wife gets mad because I'll just put on another pair. She's like, "You ruin everything. Your pants. All your pants are ruined."
There we go.
Ready to jump on. He's coming back.
He's on his way back. If I can get him in here.
Oh, there
He had to go get a soda is what he had to do.
He's vertical.
Something happened to my internet. I had to swap over to my phone.
Yeah.
Glad you're back. Where were we at? You were telling us a good story about something.
Poaching, bare feet guys. What else?
Oh yeah, those guys. And they set snares too. They set a lot of snares for those big animals. And but they completely wipe it out. You know, there's no doubt about that.
There any elephants in that country?
Any what?
Elephants?
Yes, yeah. We several times we had to have to stop and clear the trees out of the road that the elephants knocked over in the middle of the night.
But you didn't see any?
We didn't see any. Saw some tracks that were from the night before, but we
Big.
never saw any. Yeah, now big tracks. I'm trying to think of what they would compare to. They're kind of oval tracks, a little bit bigger than a dinner plate,
And they'll get after you, won't they?
Yeah, so one thing that I kind of got frustrated with is carrying that 416 Rigby around everywhere I went. I said, I don't need this big gun to kill a leopard. And Gavin and them kind of chuckled and said, you're not carrying that gun for the leopard. You're carrying that gun for the other stuff you run into trying to go to the leopard.
And so
What?
yeah, they can be. In fact, so the guy named Philip Botha was Gavin's right hand man, hound handler and helper over there. And Philip's uncle was a very famous houndsman in Africa, hunted lions and leopards with hounds. And uh, he was hunting with some clients and stuff one day, and he killed 3 charging elephants before the 4th one killed him.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, very, 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 I don't want to, very cool story. It's cool that it happened, but yeah, Philip, we called him Flippy. Great guy. But yeah, he's seen a lot through, hunting with his uncle and stuff over the years. Philip actually came over here and stayed with Biggerstaff for about like 10 months or something like that. And they had gotten tied up, and Biggerstaff sent some hounds to Africa, and they were kind of outfitting some leopard hunts in Africa. And so Philip actually had a little experience, hunting over here for mountain lions, and really cool guy. Been around, done a lot.
Besides, I mean, was elephants you had to worry about them the most, or was there other things, snakes, or what else do you have to watch out for?
It was wintertime, really. I think lions and elephants were the 2 things that you really, really needed to keep an eye out for. But, um, I mean, crocodiles, anytime, any little pool of water anywhere, dogs would jump in it. I'd be happy that the dogs were getting water, and Gavin would just, on pins and needles, worried about a croc getting one of his dogs.
Really?
Yeah. And, but yeah, so our hunting was strictly off of baits. We had maybe 9 or 10 baits out, something like that. Pull up to the bait. It's obvious that the bait had been hit by a leopard the night before. Normally, Gavin would then put a camera on the bait, put some new bait, let the leopard come back the second night so that he could get a picture of it, so that they could decide if that was a leopard that they wanted to harvest. And then they would rebait it, come back the 3rd night at whatever time the leopard was coming, and get a pretty hot start on him. And so the leopards are very, very predictable for quite a while. They get them hitting them baits, and they can keep them there probably close to a week, just coming every night.
Can you hunt them at night?
Because go ahead, sir.
Can you hunt them at night?
We started 3 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, it I think you would prefer to not be hunting them at night, but it's so far and such a big distance, you can't check your bait at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So your first bait, you got to check at 4:30 in the morning, and if a leopard happens to hit it, you're going to turn them loose, and but because I was a houndman, and I wasn't that concerned with just killing the trophy leopard and stuff. We didn't do all the camera stuff and come back. We just turned the dogs loose. And, it was pretty easy hunting. As far as, you pull up, the bait's been hit. The reason that the leopard is not sitting there eating bait is because you just ran him off of it. Gavin said sometimes you pull up and that bait's still swinging, from you just spooking that leopard off of it. And it was kind of like a lion kill too, though. You turn them dogs loose on what's a pretty good track, and it still took them, they didn't just tear out of there running with a hot leopard and race was on. It took them 10 or 15 minutes to kind of sort out and get it lined up. Once they hit it away from the tree, it was over with. It was just such a large cat that smells so much. It was just a full blown trailing hot and then jumped race. They didn't run.
Whoop, that's that same one.
I can see that better on my phone now.
Can
my
you?
computer screen, I can see that better.
Okay.
There's some of the dogs. So that black dog is called Kimba.
What's this? Is this where they put the bait?
No, this is a poacher's hut that we found and tore down.
That's what their houses look. That's what their houses look like there.
That was a poacher's camp. That's where a poacher camped at for a while and dried meat and stuff on all those sticks.
Got my hammock set up.
That was up in the woods. This was the camp we stayed in.
If you look right here, you can see a running walker.
A running walker.
Makes me feel at home. There's one more over there.
You can see in the background, those are tents that we had set up for us to sleep in.
Is that dinner?
Putting up a cow for leopard bait. They're taking the inside tenderloin, stashing it. The dog sees it. But yeah, tomorrow morning will be day number 1, so of actual hunting. So we'll see if we can find one. Be interesting.
They like
to see
blue
what
dogs
these
out there?
can do.
So Philip's uncle that I was talking about earlier, those were kind of some of his line of dogs, them blue dogs, and that's where they came from. But it's kind of tough for them. There's not a lot of hound hunters. They don't have a lot of options on where to get dogs, and so it's pretty tough, and it probably cost $10,000 to import a dog from the United States to Africa. So,
Not surprised.
if you come to Brett and say, I want to buy your best dog for $10,000, and Brett says okay and sells it to him, you got another 10 just to get it to Africa. And so now you got a $20,000 dog. Well, that's not feasible. They can't do that. So it's pretty tough on them, when it comes to getting dogs. And just like anything else, they don't know what they don't know. Just like we don't know what we don't know. So they don't know who to come over here and get dogs from. They don't know what kind of dogs we have over here that'll work good over there. It's just, you don't know what you don't know. And
what? I'm sorry. If a guy, would it be real similar to hunting here to if a guy had something, had a mule and a pack of dogs that you could free cast and ride through the country?
No. You could not hunt off a mule there
because of the terrain.
Yeah.
Or the predators.
So just imagine, 20,000 acres of boulders the size of your tires on your truck.
Wow.
I mean, a horse can't walk through it. I mean, some places you can, but you start getting up around those small mountains and stuff, and horseback is not an option. Not an
Yeah.
option.
Huh.
And that's why Gavin carries them little rat terrier, Jack Russell Terrier dogs with him. They get them leopards. They get in them boulder piles and stuff, and hell, you can't find them. I watched a 75-pound leopard crawl into a hole in between some rocks, and then I went over there and couldn't find him. I mean, they just, no horseback or nothing like that. All on foot. Now, one thing that's very interesting too about those guys, I will say this. I want to say one thing. Now, keep in mind, I've got a tumor growing in my chest, and I've been on high doses of doxycycline, which makes you very susceptible to the sun and makes you sick. But I've been a lot of places. 39 years, I've never had trouble keeping up with anybody. In fact, most people have had trouble keeping up with my skinny ass. And I had trouble keeping up with old Gavin. That's
Really?
a tough son. That's a tough son of a buck. Now,
So-
let me tell you.
Who's Gavin? Is he the outfitter over there?
Correct. Yeah, he's the dog man. And the only
He
reason I
stays
know
there.
who he is. He lives in Australia, actually, but he used to stay there.
He's been on the Houndsman XP podcast a couple times.
Yeah. And he used to live there, and then he got married and had some kids, and there's a lot of racial issues in South Africa. And one thing that I did learn is that I and any of the Black Lives Matter protesters or anybody, we don't really know what racism is in America anymore. We've forgotten, and I went over there to South Africa, and they haven't forgotten what race. There's real racism over there,
The whites against the blacks, but both
Yeah.
ways?
Both ways. I mean,
Really?
Yeah, I mean, the white man's grandpa held his grandbaby on his knee and said, "You see those black guys over there? You need to hate them." And the black
Really?
guy's grandpa held his baby on his knees and said, "You see those white guys over there? You need to hate them."
Well,
And people of both races getting beat and shot and
it's tough.
it's real racism over there.
Well, how did the natives, your hunters or whatever, how did they treat you? I mean, were they?
The natives there were very nice, but we weren't in. Well, number one, we weren't in South Africa. We were in Mozambique. We just went through South Africa. But no, they were nice there. The people where we lived are living off where we were. They live off the wild. They were too busy being hungry to worry about racism.
Yeah.
They were worried about living, and racism didn't really exist where. In that scenario, in the village and stuff. It's in the towns in South Africa. So Gavin moved his wife and family to Australia. For 4 or 5 years, I think he did not hunt with hounds anymore in Africa, selling hunts and stuff. And I think this was kind of his first year back. So, and
when you went through South Africa, I mean, were you concerned, or how did you? I mean, did you spend any time there at all?
I mean, so we spent the night there, and the white people live in little villages with giant walls and armed guards at the gates.
Wow.
I mean, yeah, no, it was Philip. Philip had some pictures of his head sliced open with a machete. I mean, it's bad. It's real bad.
Huh.
We Americans don't have the slightest clue what bad is.
Yeah.
We've all been spoiled, and yeah, it's sketchy. You know,
Hmm.
it's sketchy.
That's something.
But Gavin had 3 running walkers and 4 pot lickers for a total of 7 hounds.
That was it.
Yeah. The running walkers came for, there's some guys in South Africa over on the coast, some native guys that specialize in predator control work, and they run jackals and caracals with running walkers.
Mm-hmm.
And they hunt like 280 days a year.
Wow.
They that's where the running walkers came from. Gavin, and I talked to Gavin about it a little bit, about what he thought about him and what he liked, and you know, and I don't know. There's, running walker is a pretty blanket term for a dog, but he said that like that old running walker that he had there was just as good a trailing dog as any of the pot lickers, and he thinks that having both is what's important, having a good pack. And I said, well, what about crossing them up? And he said, I don't know that I'd want to dole down the good things about each of them. So instead of crossing them up, I'd rather just have a couple of these and a couple of those.
Well,
And the running walkers kind of, push those pot lickers up.
that's kind of the experiment that we're going through is,
Correct.
crossed up
Yeah.
to see if you're going to get the best of both worlds, the worst of both worlds. You don't know. Or if you're going to have,
Yeah.
some that turn out one way and others turn out the other way. It's just kind of a crapshoot, really.
Yeah. 100%. And I mean, Gavin, if I was going to hunt the way me and Gavin hunted, and I was strictly hunting baits, I don't know that I wouldn't have a pack of blackmouth curs, or just cur dogs.
Run hot tracks.
Yeah. But Gavin doesn't just hunt baits, different areas, and over on the coast in some places, Gavin says they won't hit baits in some of those places. You got to find tracks and trail them up. And next year, we're going to go back and we're going to go to the coast and, to some other country and see what it's like over there. But if I was going to hunt just over baits like that, I think I would really consider having some cur dogs. And
Are those leopards runners?
no, they're walkers. I mean, they'll trot a lot, walk a lot with the dogs. Kind of just, not enough pressure to push them up a tree, and if you pressure them too much, your dogs will get killed. So, there was one point on one of the leopards that we caught where I'd have given $1,000 to just have one pit bull hog dog I could turn loose, and have have it be over, because we went several miles through pretty rough terrain, and the leopard was walking at one pace, the dogs were walking at one pace, and we were walking at one pace, and we were all three walking at the same pace, not getting any closer to each other. It
Super chat. Thank you.
Thanks, Melissa.
Uncle Johnny.
So one thing that was kind of cool is, if you or I were to go hunting and the dogs start a cat and they go off trailing, you and I are going to stand there and listen and try to determine where the dogs are going, where the cat's going. And they don't. They stay with the dogs the whole time. When them dogs start trailing, you're keeping up with the dog. And uh, one reason is the trail's just so good, you know you're going to catch it. The second reason is if they catch on the ground, I think you want to be there pretty quick to keep from losing a bunch of dogs. And but that's one thing that was a lot different. You know, we had to keep up with the dogs as they were trailing. That was a lot of work.
So, I mean, when you say, were they cold trailing then?
No, no,
So
they
you
were
were at a
hot
fast
trail.
trot keeping up with them.
Yeah, 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 yeah. They were moving, faster than we could, but we'd catch up to them at times.
Hmm.
And one thing that I'll give their dogs credit for, uh, it was wintertime there, but it was still pretty hot. It'd be cold in the mornings, but it would warm up during the day. And there was one time in particular where I thought, man, this is over with. It's getting hot. And the first cat, the kind of the same thing. We kind of had they baited on the ground and then it ran and then the dogs kind of false treed and uh, so that was kind of over with. And then the next time they they hit a bad spot and they were looking and it was hot and they were hot and but they kept at it. They didn't give up and through pretty hot conditions they they caught us a leopard.
I'll be dang.
And which I was, they did a pretty good job. Of course, they're acclimated to it. That's where the dogs live,
So
and
he,
I've just conditions very similar to South Texas, really. And so I've seen a lot of dogs come down aren't acclimated to it, and they kind of get hot and can give up a little quick sometimes. And these dogs didn't. They did good. They did good.
so they had, so they were they Gavin's dogs or were they local dogs?
Um, a little mixture.
Mm-hmm.
Gavin had some dogs those blue dogs that we were discussing. Um, I think he was kind of borrowed those dogs, or he had bought the running walkers from those predator hunters that we were talking about. Then he was hunting some dogs. They had a dog named King, um, that was, I would say, past his prime. Or past his. He's probably not even that old, to be honest with you. He's just a big old pot licker. Uh,
That
but
coming from a
Mal,
running walker man. There you go.
yeah, pot lickers, mouthy, pot licker. But there are some big old trees down there, And Gavin said, "Man, I kind of keep him around because." Um, he's good at locating in some of those big trees. There's some big tree. Well, you saw them boba trees and stuff.
Yeah,
And so, every dog may have some faults, but it also had its purpose.
sure.
And Gavin trying to kind of form a pack around that, and is pretty neat to see.
Isn't Roy Sparks? Have you heard of him?
I know that name from somewhere.
Facebook. He hunts. He's a houndsman in Africa, I'm sure. I've
Huh.
corresponded with him on. He's asked me some questions before on Facebook. I know he has. Roy Sparks.
Hey,
Yeah, I've
Cody.
heard that name some. Go ahead.
Oh, does that guy, does Gavin, does he run the other critters down there with the same dogs? Like, because I know that, like you were saying, the caracal and jackals, and or is he only
Yeah.
leopards?
Who? Gavin himself?
Yeah, whoever you were hunting with.
Yeah. So, I gotta watch what I say.
Uh-oh.
The running walkers. I just don't want to say something that's wrong. The running walkers run caracals and jackals, and he had just got back into it this year. I think he had bought
Sure.
every dog there in like May, so so that he could start running his hunts. Maybe he had Kimba. So he borrowed a couple of dogs and bought a couple of dogs, and then but Gavin is strictly trying to catch leopards with the dogs.
Okay.
And so one thing that frustrates me, and you see it everywhere, especially in states where there's seasons and stuff like that. August 1st, Gavin's leopard hunts are over, and his dogs went to a kennel, and Gavin went home to Australia, and see you next May, And so a dog that's laid up from August to May, what
Yeah.
can you expect, kind of deal.
Yep.
I think Gavin kind of maybe make a deal with those predator hunters that we were talking about, and letting them, paying them to run his dogs on caracal and jackal and kind of keep them going. And I think that has a lot to do with, hunting off baits. And then even, Gavin would never turn his dogs loose. We did one day. I made him. I said, we just got to turn his dogs loose and go hunting. It was the last day. And we crossed the mountain. But, Gavin's way of hunting is you're either turning loose or on a bait, or you're turning loose on a trap. The dogs don't go hunt. You put the dogs on stuff. It's a little bit different.
No free
But
casting.
you have to cover so much country. I mean,
Right.
to just turn a dog loose, and like I do or Brett does, yeah, you're not gonna get very far. It's just a different kind of hunting. But you have to understand too that he's not doing it for pleasure. He's trying to catch a trophy animal for there to harvest. So, he has to do what he has to do to catch a cat,
Mm-hmm.
and,
Yeah.
and not just any cat. It was a little different for me being there, but anybody else, that was a walk of the freaking life, man. Go country, up them mountains and down, and keeping up with them dogs. And there's not a lot of people in this world that keep up with them. I mean, there was, it's tough. And, a lot of the paid hunters do what I did, and then get to a 50-pound kitten in the tree. They're going to be pissed off,
Oh yeah.
And they're not dog men. They don't care.
They're there to kill a
they just
leopard.
want, yeah. And it's wrong, but that's the way they are, So he doesn't really hunt the same way that we would, if he's not casting dogs. Or we roaded him a little bit, he kind of wanted to make me feel at home. We were trying to catch a caracal or a serval or something just for fun, but
Gotcha.
but no, I don't know how many leopards he killed this year. I think he killed 2 and wounded 1, maybe something like that. I think he had 6 hunters this year. I think he killed 2.
That Roy Sparks is in uh, Southern Africa, Cape something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
South Africa,
And
Cape Town.
he got some dogs from, what's the bobcat hunter? His boy, we called him Dad's Dog Boy back a long time ago.
On the forums.
Yep.
Clay.
Clay?
Finney Clay.
Finney Clay. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the one that Hootie Shaw said he was the hardest hunter he'd ever been around. He said he never would, that Finney would never quit, that he just stayed out there all the time.
Yeah.
That Hootie Shaw interview was great.
Oh, thank you. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed talking to him.
Glad you finally put that one up. Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, he was a character. He was just absolutely fascinated with Cody catching bobcats there in Oklahoma where we were. He'd ask me, he said, now, you got those dogs out there? Can I go out there and look at those dogs? I said, no, they weren't my dogs. They were a friend of mine's. Oh. And he caught a couple bobcats there. And I said, yeah, in 3 days he caught 2 bobcats. Oh. What kind of dogs? What? Now, who is this guy?
Total disbelief.
He wanted to meet him. I mean, he wanted to talk dogs with him because he was a houndsman. I mean, he is a houndsman. That's all he thinks about us. He didn't care. He said after they got trained, he didn't really care about messing with them. He wanted young dogs.
That's one thing that I saw in that interview that I really liked is when he said that, and because Ruben, you can always say, he said, man, if you got a pack of broke cat dogs, catching bobcats is easy. What's the fun in that? You want to count them, he always, training them up.
Yeah. It's, I had that young dog that she's been on a couple lions, but she's always been with the other dogs. And she started that lion day before yesterday. I mean, she started it all on her own. And I thought, man, that's amazing. She out there in the dirt and the rocks and the mesquite.
And how's she bred, Brett?
Her daddy is Jack. Her daddy is Jack and her mother is P. So that's that cross.
She's a quarter running walker then.
She's a quarter running walker. And so it's a cross that you're trying to get the best of both worlds. And I bet she don't weigh 35 pounds. And like a mosquito, she's everywhere.
Nick and Chris, have either of y'all run across S.A. Field Sports Photography, Scott Allen?
Yes. I was going to ask you about that because I've been following him on Instagram for a long time, and I saw you on there. He posted some pictures of you, and I was like, oh, that's who he went with.
Yeah, no, he went with us, and he's a cool dude, man. And I tell you what, that guy has seen some cool things going around around the world, really. Photographing different people with their hounds. I tried to get him to come on with us tonight, actually.
Oh man, yeah.
And it's just such a big time difference that it's kind of difficult to communicate with him sometimes.
He's in the UK, right? England?
Yeah. Okay. But he said he'd love to come on. So one Monday night when y'all are bored, let me know and I'll set that up.
Yeah, please do.
And
cool.
Y'all can chat
awesome
with him because he's seen some really cool things.
And then Nicholas should get a hold of him to do just a sit down interview on your regular deal.
He's because I know he has a does he actually have he does a lot of the earth dog kind of stuff, which is really popular.
Got some kind of feist, or he's going to be. I tell you what, I never seen a much more ridiculous person in my life. They call cookies biscuits, and their tea is hot, and I mean, just everything is ass backwards around those dudes, man. Let me tell you.
Oh yeah.
But uh, but he was. I had a I had a phenomenal time hunting with him,
That's
and
cool.
he's just a great guy. You know, he's a cool dude. He took
Awesome.
any picture that's good. He took, and
Yeah,
We
man.
got
I don't know what he does to his camera, but like, yeah, his photography is incredible.
yeah, he took that
Yeah.
picture, and the
that,
one of me in the tree he took.
that's like magazine stuff right there.
Got a
Oh, for
movie
sure.
scene.
Yeah.
What are you doing in a tree?
So there
Hiding
was
from
an
a
old
leopard.
leopard bait there, and if you look right
Oh,
next to
right
my
there.
foot, it's full of claw marks where them leopards would been hanging on
Huh.
while they were pulling on meat and stuff, and they claw them trees all up.
Huh.
But yeah, if you zoom in on that picture, in between my feet, you can see all the claw marks. I don't know if you'd be able to see it on
Crotch
here
shot.
or not. But yeah,
Yeah, that's cool.
but it was a lot of fun. Did not get to harvest a leopard, but that wasn't the end of the world. Still had a blast. Gonna go back next year. We're gonna go the same country, Mozambique, but we're gonna go to a different spot. We're gonna go over on the coast. Um, and but yeah, no, it was a lot of fun, man. I highly recommend it to anybody.
Did you
One of
come
these
across
days.
any pythons?
No,
No.
but it was
My
winter time.
wife. So my wife went to Tanzania a couple years ago, and the family she was staying with, their dog got caught by a python. Like got all wrapped up in one, and its owner came and found it and somehow managed to pry the python off of it. And then
Really?
apparently my wife is sitting here texting me, telling me these things I should tell you. She's watching the live stream. Apparently one of their other dogs got spit in the face by a spitting cobra. Did you come across any spitting cobras?
No, but they had both of them there. But we were in the winter time, so most of the snakes
Oh, okay.
were late. It was cold. I mean, it was wear jacket cold in the morning, and
Yeah.
you know, and then take it off at 10 o'clock, and you're hot.
That's
But,
our winter times here.
Yeah. But Nick, I was telling the other guys earlier when George was on that I last year I went down in July and attempted to catch a jaguar on a collaring program, and gonna go back again at the end of October. So I'm gonna try to get y'all some footage if I can.
Awesome.
But I want everyone to know that as much as Brett complains about me not filming stuff all the time, tell him he's more than welcome to go with me. So if y'all can
that in
rile
Mexico?
him up to come down with me, he can film whatever he wants. So, and now he's retired. So
Got all the time in the
Might
world.
wanna talk to his
Is
wife.
that Mexico you're going?
I go. I take all my cameras and go and film it.
yeah, and if he doesn't go, if one of y'all want to come and film it, you're more than welcome. So
There
When
you
are
go.
you going and
Yeah.
where?
Do
when
what?
and where? What country?
Mexico.
So Mexico,
Okay.
probably end of October, somewhere in there.
Mhm.
I'm gonna try to set it up.
See, one of you guys are probably going to have to go because my grandson has an elk hunt, 16B, end of October, and then he has a deer hunt that starts 3 days after that. So I gotta take him. That 16B elk hunt is a pretty hard
Is that a good
draw.
tag?
So when you
Yeah.
guys, Chris, or
I got it. I got
Hey, my birthday is
I got
October
caught-
26th. Sounds like a fun birthday trip.
There you
Sounds
go.
like a
Yeah.
fun birthday.
I got
Take
a deer
your-
hunt that starts
So-
the next day.
that's my
Yeah.
problems. Maybe I can.
Mhm.
I don't know. I'll have to see. I'd like to go. It's just too many things to
Yeah.
do once you're retired.
Hey, Brett, also on another note, I'm going to send you on the count.
I don't know what he's going to send me now.
Oh,
Cliffhanger.
teaser. Teaser.
He did that on purpose.
He did. He didn't cut out. I think maybe he froze up because he didn't leave yet.
Have you guys ever wanted to go to Africa?
I never thought about it.
Yeah.
I barely want to leave Arizona half the time. I just stay here and hunt. You know,
was
you
gonna
get
say,
into another country, scary stuff. Like going down to Mexico, scary stuff.
There he is.
There he is.
Oh, there he is.
Scared me.
CODY King.
Oh, now he's gone.
Oh, yeah, he's gone.
Oh, he's really gone.
You know, I have a
Yeah.
hard time just going an hour and a half up the road to hunt the mountains. I just go across the river and hunt the desert. Oh, he just sent me.
Yeah, I always feel like I feel like I don't have enough time to go all the places I want to just like within
Yeah.
2 hours of my house. But I don't know. I think traveling is good to do. My wife wanted me to go to Africa with her, but I kind of chickened out. I do want to go to Africa though. I think that would be
It's
Pretty
just
awesome.
tough when in Arizona. I get to carry my gun. Like I carry my AK. I can carry. It's like I don't have nothing to worry about. You go to another country, man. You're at the mercy. That's like Mexico.
well. If you go to Mexico, they got tons of guns in
I've been-
Mexico. You're fine.
Yeah, they do. Don't
Pick your
get caught
guns.
with none. Don't get caught
Everyone
with
has
no guns.
guns.
My friend
Yeah.
lost all his stuff over shotgun shells
Oh,
in his
really?
truck.
Whoa, now he's
Oh,
I had
outside.
to find
There
some
for a
service.
Yeah. Brett, did you get the video that I just sent you?
Yes.
Can you play that?
Yeah.
A hunter sent me this, and I'm curious to see what y'all's opinion of it is. You'll be able to see what his opinion of it was.
Let me see if I can find it. I got to get it set up here. Hold on.
And turn your volume up, guys, so you can hear it.
Yeah, it's definitely.
Is that all of it?
Yeah, it's not very long.
Yeah, it's definitely.
Is a female screaming?
So I'm looking for a partner.
Oh, I wish you'd have
And
kept
then-
the camera going.
Yeah, I know, and they saw it, and it was a little female. And then the next night, last night, the lions actually killed a young colt horse.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Is that where you're
Yeah.
going?
Maybe eventually, but not right now. But they saw 4 lions there. They said it was a mother with a bunch of big kittens. And I was kind of curious what y'all's opinions were. Do you think a female would scream like that if she still had her kittens with her?
Maybe she's trying to locate her kittens.
I think they do that chirp, don't they? To locate them?
Yeah.
I think those females always be screaming. Am I right?
Yeah. My wife's always screaming at
I'm
me.
not going
I
there.
didn't say it. I didn't say it this time. Is all I'm going to say. Someone else needs the
I'll
mute button
say it.
now.
Chris has been quiet for some reason tonight.
I'm
I don't know
just
what's.
fascinated. I could listen to stories all day long. I tell stories, but when you get to listen to stories,
Oh yeah,
like it's just amazing.
when somebody has a good one, yeah,
Yes, yes.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a shame hunting didn't work out a little better because with Scott there, he was going to film, and Scott was going to take his pictures. Zach was going to film, so we would have got some really good stuff, and it just didn't work out because we catch a big one. But it was pretty tough getting through them mountains, and to poke a little fun at the Australian and the Englishman, they were lagging behind a little bit going through that stuff, and
They couldn't
but the
keep up with
natives
you.
were too. The natives were too. The natives couldn't keep up. Oh, they're
I gotta show off my super sticker again. I need to take a picture of that and hang it on the wall in here.
75% of your hunt is memories. There's more
That's
people that
exactly
have
right.
more fun. And, I took a guy, I was just out running dogs and I caught a little bear last Sunday or whatever it was. And a guy just happened to pop in and I said, well, come to the tree. I said, it shows their tree and I don't know what I have, but come. He never been behind dogs and he never been up to a tree where you could look at a bear 30 feet away. And that old boy just, I would have let him shoot it if it was big enough, burn his tag, not mine. But he had a blast. He's a little old bear, but man, he had a good time. And I feel like 90% of walking into a tree is that exactly all it is. Walking into that tree, you know.
Oh yeah.
So I still get excited walking into a tree,
Oh yeah,
100 trees. I could tree 5 bear tomorrow. And then the next day, if I get a tree, I'm just as excited walking into a tree.
I'll tell you what happened to me this morning, and I got excited. Is I had a heck of a fox race.
Nice.
I mean, when I seen the fox, and those dogs were. I had a CODY King running walker on that sucker. I thought he was going to catch him there for a little while. But that fox got it down into some thick mesquite and a sandy bottom, and I don't know what happened down there. But
You didn't have just one more dog, is what happened.
I had 4 dogs that were right on him. Well,
Just needed
I
one
say
more.
right on him. They were probably, I don't know, 2 or 3 minutes behind him, something like that. But what was cool about it is I was up on top of the mountain up high, and I seen him jump him, or I seen him jump, and the dogs were trailing. They come around, then I seen him jump and take off, and I thought, you know what? These poor lion hounds haven't got to see a lion, so I'm gonna let them run a fox, and they did a good job. It was fun.
A lot of the old-timey cat hunters have always told me, they said, if you'd sit and listen to a fox race, you'd run fox from then on.
You're real quiet, Cody.
You're real quiet, Cody.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, it's
Just slightly.
There, I can hear you now.
Oh yeah, there you go.
A lot of the old-timers down here have always told me, they said, if you could hear a good fox race, you'd start running fox. They said it's a real pretty race and a lot of fun. We just don't have, where I live, there's not hardly any. But where I hunt, there's some. But we don't mess with them too much.
Up in the mountains, it's pretty fun if you can get them to circle. I mean, it doesn't go. This one, he ran out quite a ways, and I've treed a few, and I don't catch enough lions to really hard break my hounds, and I'm just scared I'll take a lot of that out of them. So, and I watched that Dale guy. I'm sure Chris knows him.
Dale Roberts.
Oh man, that guy has
That
a
guy's a
male
bobcat
dog
hunting.
that's out of this
Oh, yeah.
world.
Yep.
He catches everything in the world, and I think for about every third fox he catches a mountain lion.
Yeah. Keeps him in shape,
Yeah.
that's for sure.
Oh yeah, and as long as you're not guiding hunters or something, I don't know. I know a fox will climb, so
Oh, yeah.
I don't have anything against it.
Tallest tree they can find.
I'd rather run a fox than a bear.
Well,
I'll take
gentlemen,
it
my
all.
phone, my internet's cut off in my office, and my phone's about dead, so I'm gonna have to bid farewell.
Cody,
Sounds
thanks for
good.
coming by.
Great
thanks, Cody.
entertainment. Good stories.
I enjoyed talking about it, and next time I'll tell you about the baboons. So
Oh,
Nice.
and hurry up and get my apartment done down there.
I'm working on it. So I'm building some new kennels right now, and I messed up really bad. I went a little overboard, and I think my wife's about to kill me. But
Oh,
You might be living in that apartment.
yeah, but I'll have plenty of kennel rooms and a little apartment. One of y'all come down and go hunting with me sometime. It'd be a lot of fun.
nice.
I want to do it. All right, Cody, thank you.
Chris, Nick, good to see you guys.
Appreciate it.
Brett,
Yeah,
catch
good
you
to
later,
see you,
man.
buddy.
You bet.
See ya.
Bye bye.
Onward and upward.
Man,
Guys,
listening to stories all night long.
tell us a good story, Chris. We want to hear one of your
Oh.
stories.
I ran 2-bear Thursday. It was the last day of archery, is what it was.
Did you tree 'em?
One did big circle. Thought I was going to catch it a couple times. I'm like, just tree it there. That's the video I just put out tonight. And I looked like they were going to tree, and they're going to tree. And they turned, and he went right to the reservation. Right to the res. And I didn't want to deal with going. I pulled him off. I cut him off and pulled him off. And then I'm sitting on the truck. I have two of my dogs on the truck, Sydney and Dirty. And I'm standing there trying to get signal on my other dogs. And two antelope ran right at my truck 20 feet from me. And my Sydney dog, scared the crap out of her. She jumped off, started chasing them before she knew what was going on. And, man, I yelled. And listen, that alpha's doing me all right. But when you have to find the right number to shock, Buzz, you can't find it. The old school Tritronics, I knew she was green and I could hit it. Man, I'm getting used to it. But no, I buzzed her just a little bit. She stopped kind of before, but I had to give her a little, hey man, but they were like 20 feet from my truck. Scared the crap out of me. I heard them coming, and they ran right on the passenger side. I was on the driver's side. And then I started.
Is this your
another
stuff?
one.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, Brett, I sent you a couple pictures of the dog box I'm building. If you wanted to share those, I
Oh,
can
he's a welder, yeah. He's getting
share
it
a little
too.
bit about it.
Hide the welds.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut
He
you off,
grind.
Chris.
No,
Yeah,
that's
grind.
fine. I'll look at it. You're gonna put a divider in it?
Looks good.
Yeah. This actually started out as one solid block of metal, and then I just carved it out with the grinder. Just kidding, obviously. But
That's what it's gonna look like when it's done. Hey,
yeah,
as long
pretty
as the
much.
welds hold, you don't have to be a welder. You just have to know how to weld. Or you don't have to know how to weld. You
Yeah.
can just be a welder.
Yeah, it's been fun learning. I've just been doing the
There he is.
YouTube, going on the YouTube rabbit hole to learn how to weld, and man, you can learn anything on YouTube.
You can.
It is a lot more forgiving than I thought it would be. You know what I mean? So
once you
that's been
learn
cool.
how not to burn holes, you're good to go.
It clicked for me because I was burning
It's
holes
harder.
like a mofo.
It's harder to fill
Yeah.
a hole than it is to burn a hole.
It is.
So-
Yep. So it's
Ooh,
kind of like a
boy.
basic
Up,
on the rail style, and then I'm
uptown.
gonna build like a wooden tub that goes under it, if you know what I mean. So it'll be like a fully enclosed dog box, but the bottom part will be made out of wood.
That sounds like a lot of work. I'd leave it like that and throw some Bermuda grass in it and call it good.
Well, so the way I'm doing it is it's like a convertible dog box. So so I'll be able to I can run it like that. So like summer mode, you know, when it's hot.
Yeah.
So I get tons of ventilation and everything. And then I'm going to do it so I can just throw that wooden tub deal, bolt it together. You know, throw a bunch of straw in it for the winter. So yeah,
Bermuda grass.
A lot of work to
Use
do on
Bermuda.
it. But
don't use that. That's
Really?
straw. Itch your dogs up. Use Bermuda. Bermuda don't fly out. Bermuda will kind of intertwine like a mat. I
Or
use
Timothy.
Bermuda grass. Yeah, something that's just stringy. Get some grass hay and throw it in there.
Look who's in the house. John is in the house.
No.
Hey,
Got
guys.
off work?
Yeah,
We
I
need-
got off work and I've been I turned it on and listened coming down the road to Cody.
We need to talk him into putting his hat on.
Oh.
all this beauty,
I had to put my hat on.
baby.
I couldn't get my hair to straighten out. It was everywhere. Plus, I had to rep my new.
They're all hanging up on the deer head back here.
Yep.
I was editing. Go ahead, Chris.
I got my merchandise store now, so I had to order a hat.
He's got merch.
Nice.
I was editing a video, and I seen myself bend over, and I looked at that, and I thought, I didn't realize my hair was turning that gray. I mean, my beard's been gray for quite a few years, but my hair's turning gray. But I still got it.
My hair, mine started turning loose in high school.
Really?
Yeah.
You can see the streaks in mine starting to come out. That blonde.
The only gray hairs I have are in my nose.
Well, let's don't see them.
Yeah, we don't want to. We're good.
It's so weird. I get like these crazy long white.
Well, that's enough. That's enough.
Yeah, that's called a booger.
No, well, no, it wasn't. I promise.
See what happens when you take a good storyteller off? Everybody starts running their mouth.
Just turns to crap.
When do you start running your bobcats, Nicholas?
He is.
I mean, I could be running them right now. I'm trying to get this dog box done, and there's a lot of bow hunters in the woods right now.
Oh.
So, yeah, our season's open. I could be out there right now. I need to get my game together.
Man, I got lucky this year on bear because there's 2 units I hunt in, and the archery season was open, and they opened it for 3 weeks this year. But now that they got a quota, these guys are going out and whacking the first thing they see. So they shut down the first week. So the last couple of weeks, I didn't have no hunters in there, and there wasn't a lot of dog hunters either. So I kind of had the woods to myself.
If they fill a quota, can you keep running but not harvest?
Not bear. Not bear.
Oh, you got to
lions,
shut down
yes.
completely.
Yeah,
Okay.
lions, yes. I wish they would. I don't know why they don't. I think
Pursuit.
they're going to. Yes, I think they will because I don't see why you can't pursue them after it's closed.
Yeah.
Because we get a lot of out-of-staters. That's what I complain about. They get a lot of out-of-staters come in here and guys, and they just whack everything. I heard there was 8 sows killed by one outfitter, and he's a local guy. That's just a rumor that I started.
Do you have any good stories, John?
I mean, you know, talking about, I wanted to say something about that. Talking about that, some of those guys just don't care. Like, when I first started looking for somebody to come out there to go cat hunting with, some of them guys would be like, oh. I said, well, I just don't want to kill 75 pounds female. And they'd be like, oh, you may not have a choice if you want to kill a cat. And I'm like, I don't know about this, you know. Why a guide, an outfitter in the area won't, you know. All he's worried about is getting a client in there, getting a cat killed, and getting the money and getting out.
Yeah.
Well, the old days, you only got paid if you killed something. You read that Trained by the Hounds, that's what he talks about. He charged, what, $3,000, but only if he killed something?
Well, most guys now charge, but if you don't kill one, you can come back and hunt again.
A lot of it, though, you watch him and it says, for a discounted rate. That drives me crazy.
John, are you
See, I
frozen?
think
Oh,
no, I think most of them's discounted rate. You know, to come back
yeah.
unless you buy a package. Now Mike's got a package you can buy, and he'll guarantee you a trophy size cat. You know, not just an average tom, but a trophy size cat. You know, it's a little bit out of my price range to do that. But he talks. I mean, he talks like he just, you know. Of course, I think I'm going to be the first hunter in the area too. So
You were talking about another area. Are you thinking about going to that other area?
I think that's where he's going. I think that's where we're going to go. I thought we were going to Lincoln County, but he sent me a pin drop the other day to that place just outside of Membreys.
Yeah, good. That's closer to me.
So, he sent me some ranch there. He said we was going to stay on that ranch and hunt national forest too.
You'll drive right 20 miles from my house.
Oh, cool.
And you cut across.
What's that date? The 10th?
No, 17th through the 22nd is my hunt dates.
Ooh, I might be able to fly over that way.
Yeah, I'm going to be 17th for the 22nd, and then I'm going to leave here on Friday. I work Thursday night and work off Friday morning. I'm going to sleep a few hours and just start driving because there's a few things I want to do. One guy was telling me about there's a Where the Red Fern Grows museum that's on my way out there.
We're in Oklahoma or somewhere?
I think it was in Oklahoma the way he talked. I got to check with him again. I talked to him because he asked me, he said, are you going? He's one of my buddies that hound hunts here. And he said, are you going, that I bear hunted with in the past? He's, you going 40 all the way? And I said, yeah, I'll take 40 all the way into New Mexico. And he said, he told me the name of that place. It's the name of what's the name of the town that the kid went, that he walked to pick up his pup when he ordered him to come to the train station? I can't remember. But I think that's the name of the.
Dang it. I had it for a second there.
It's kind of a weird name. It's not a, you know.
Yeah. Let's see. Tallahassee.
But no, I don't think it is. Is it?
Wasn't it Tallahassee?
Maybe it was. Maybe
I'm going to Tallahassee.
Maybe it was.
Tallahassee.
But he was talking about that.
Found it.
He was
It
talking
is
about that I needed to stop there.
Oh.
Tahlequah.
I was close. I had a
Tahlequah.
Tahlequah, yeah.
Tahlequah. That's way up the river.
But he told me I would be close coming through there to where it's at. I don't know. So I'm going to Tahlequah. So he said, I don't know how people remember that, but one of my buddies there at work said, yeah, he told it right off his head where it was at.
Another spelling.
That's where he went and picked up his pups. So I think I'll stop there because, I mean, I don't know. I guess every hound hunter and everybody's ever hunted with dogs thinks that's probably the best book that was ever written as far as, you know, a novel type book.
No, I remember a teacher reading it in 5th grade.
That's when we read it was in 5th grade. And me and my wife got married. She loves to read, and she's like, we were talking one day, and she said, I've never read it. And I said, what? So I ordered it for her to read. I said, you got to read it. So,
remember having to hide my face. Nobody see me crying.
She said it made her. She just said right now. She just said it made me sad.
Made me cry like a baby in 5th grade. I was supposed to be a big tough guy.
It's a good book. But so we'll stop there. I'm gonna stop in Amarillo. Of course, you know, on my end of the thing, with YouTube, I'm gonna stop in Amarillo and eat at the Big Texan Steakhouse.
Yep, eat that. What is it? What's that steak? How big is it?
Like 40 ounces? Oh, 72.
72.
Jeez.
It's a 5-pound steak, a baked potato, a salad, and shrimp that you have to eat.
If you eat it all, it's free.
If you eat it all, it's free.
We were in there,
It's like
and
$300
this has
plate or
been
something or what?
what's that?
How much does that cost?
How much is
I
that?
would think like $350.
No, I'm thinking it's like $80 or something.
Yeah, that's a good deal.
I was in there, and you know, they got a book or whatever, whoever's ate it or whatever, and my neighbor, I seen his name. He had ate the whole thing, and he was one of those big old farm boys from Hatch. You know, those boys are something else.
I don't know. If I ate it, I would be miserable. And that's what somebody was talking to me. But you need to try it. And I said, if I ate it, I said I would either be so miserable for my hunt that I wouldn't be able to ride a mule, or if I ate it on my way back, I would be so miserable that I wouldn't want to drive home.
They'd have to put me in the hospital.
You'd have to sleep that one off for a couple days.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's a few other places along the way that I'll find that I want to stop. But
Might as well enjoy the trip.
I actually got me I actually ordered me a GoPro this week and got it in.
Good.
So. And,
When are you going to make some more cooking videos? What's wrong with you?
What's wrong with you?
Just,
What is wrong with you?
I just been. I know what you're gonna say.
Kick
I've
him
been
off.
busy. My son.
Now she's fussing at him.
You're
What
crazy.
did you do on your days off? What did you do on your days off?
Oh, I got stuff
man.
ready.
Uh-oh.
I got her started.
Get
When
her
did
on
I
the
have
camera.
days on?
Monday. Friday.
Ooh, that's kind of a mean look right there.
Yeah,
Mrs.
Saturday I had
Papa.
to worry about you.
Just half the day.
Yeah.
You had all morning.
We need to get him off of there and get her on here. I'd rather talk to her right now.
No, our son's moving back up here, and I'm trying to help get some stuff ready to get his place fixed where he's moving to. He's moving to a place that Dad owns, and we've got another place that our sister-in-law's been renting from us, but we're gonna give it to him, and he needs some. Before he moves in it needs a bunch of remodeling done on it. It needs. He can make an extremely nice place for probably $30,000.
Oh, really?
So I told him, yeah. So, so I told him we'd work on that, and just gonna let them have it. So, it's a double wide, and it sits out here in the middle of nowhere where we live at. So,
Cool.
we're gonna let them move into it. So.
It's haunted.
Tammy says it's haunted, but y'all know my feeling on ghosts. Weird things happened at that place. I'm telling you, weird things did happen at that place. For the longest time, I thought somebody was getting in there while we were gone, or somebody was staying in one of our back rooms, because we would leave and come home and every light in the place would be on. Every light.
I didn't think you believed in ghosts.
I know. That's what I was
said,
about to say.
I don't. She's a nut. I don't believe in ghosts. She's a nut.
Oh, we might have to end this early so there's no graphic material on this.
We're going to get to witness a fight here.
Might have to have a delay when something comes flying across the living room.
No, we pick on each other so hard all the time that people always think we're going to break out in a fight. So I didn't get to hear all of Cody's story. Did he not get to kill a leopard?
No, he didn't kill one. They treed one, but it was a young leopard that they.
Didn't they treat a couple of them?
He sounded like he did, but he only. I don't know if they
Or
only made it to one
too.
tree or something.
Yeah, and the other
No,
one
he
just
said
walked.
they treed one and they caught one on the ground.
Yeah, and it was walking, and I think they called the dogs off of it or something.
I heard something about that that they couldn't catch up with, but I did hear
something. I can't remember.
But he's saying that it was walking and they were walking and they wasn't making any ground. So, but I looked those prices up.
Uh-oh.
I mean, just a few minutes ago.
Oh, Brett's bedtime. Brett's bedtime.
I'm fading, man. I've been up at 4:00 in the morning every morning this week.
I get up. I'm home, so I have to get up early and make my wife's coffee and breakfast and everything. Get the kids ready.
Oh, that's awfully sweet of you.
Watching this, I know. Good husband.
Mm.
Maybe we should get her on.
Yeah, I think
She won't
Cody.
come on. We know that.
It did cost a lot of money, but I think Cody got a discount too.
Yeah.
But
I wondered
it
about
was
that.
still
I looked
a
up.
lot of money.
I looked on Book Your Hunt. It was
Uh-oh.
kind of
Speaking of
expensive.
wives,
Oh, Mama's looking for Brett. We kept him too long. We kept Brett too long.
this is King Cody, not my wife. I'm still on this live thing. What's up?
Did you
Yeah,
say,
we just
Chris, that,
we're about
that
to
you
Just sit here and watch
walked the big
Brett
bird?
talk on the phone.
We'll see if he gets in trouble like Johnny
Okay,
just did.
yeah, I'll call you as soon as we're done. Okay.
Oh, got to check in.
It's like you didn't go run off into them hills again, did you?
Yeah, dang it, Brett. You better not be on your mule.
Did he get
You
in
better
trouble?
not be
Did he
out
get
in that
trouble?
arroyo again.
Mm-hmm. Better get home, Brett. You better don't.
Bring-
you just pass that mule up. Don't
Bring
load
home
them
the
dogs.
milk. No, it was Cody calling me, but my wife was texting me.
Double
I got
whammy.
confused.
Did you get in trouble with her for going out hunting?
My wife? No,
Yeah.
no,
As long as he has service, he's
No.
okay.
She, matter of fact, when I said like this summer I couldn't go out, she said, "Why don't you just go walk somewhere?" Just because I get a little bit grumpy.
You know, it was noticeable. You could tell you weren't Brett. You didn't want to be cooped up. Nobody wanted to be cooped up, man.
No, it was miserable, absolutely miserable.
I went
It's
when I
I
could
wouldn't.
have my dogs and mules, and I didn't get to go out down there for a while, a couple months, man. I got depressed. Once I got back on that mule, I was good to go. Man,
Like I said, I feel like I got a second chance. I don't waste any time now. I've been out every single morning, and now that I can lift, today was the last day I can lift over 5 pounds with my right hand now, so I can saddle the mule. And
did that leave you sore?
no, the first day it kind of hurt, because they go up in your arm and they go into your heart, and I could feel it, but it wasn't. No,
Wasn't bad.
No,
I was so elated that it was just there was no blockage. Nothing hurt. I mean, I was just because they told me, they said, well, it has a 20% chance that they're wrong with the stress test they gave me. So 80% chance they were right. And I thought, man.
Well, that stress test just goes off of your electrical firings, right? How it fires in your
No,
heart
they
when
put isotopes in your blood. Like I can't even go. I couldn't even go through the border patrol station because they said they're that picks up radioactive stuff, whatever. It would set it off. And
Their Geiger counter.
Something like that. Yeah, but they do. First they took me and they put the isotopes in me and they ran me through a tube, and that was it. And then the next time I went, they put the isotopes in me and then had me run on a treadmill. And I ran on the treadmill and they kept saying faster, faster, higher, higher. They raise it up. And I thought, man, told everybody, I felt like David Goggins, man. I was just running. And then right after that, they took me and they ran me through that tube again. And I felt like everything was all right. The thing I was worried about that time is I have a heart murmur. Well, at some point, and then I can't remember, one of those trips to the hospital, they put me out completely and they went down my throat and to look at the backside of my heart. So they stuck something down there to look at the backside of my heart. But for that, they put me smooth out. I didn't remember anything. I just remember waking up in the recovery room and there was a little fat nurse that was laughing at me. I don't know what I was doing, but she seemed to think it was funny. Because I was out and I opened my eyes and she's giggling like that. And I thought, oh, well, there ain't no telling what I was
Maybe
doing.
it's what she was doing to you. She was
Oh,
laughing
boy.
at.
Well, no, there was other people there,
Yeah.
so I don't think she was taking advantage of me.
Hey,
But
look, it's Brett Vaughn, guys. Record this.
but then when I had the appointment to go over all those tests, the cardiologist came in and said he said we got some problems. I said, well, and you think the worst. He said your stress test came back abnormal. And I said, well, what does that mean? He said, it means you probably have some blockage in there. And I said, oh. So he said, it's a 80% correct or 20% it could be wrong. He said, but the good news is your murmur or your valve is fine. That's not a big deal. And so then I had to wait for like what seemed like forever. 3 weeks, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And my wife, bless her heart, she kept calling down there and telling them, well, if they have an earlier opening, take me in, that I'll be there. Because all I was doing is sitting around feeling sorry for myself. And I went down there one time and the machine broke. I was down there at 6:30 in the morning. And I was supposed to have the deal done, and the machine broke, and I had to leave. So, but then they got me in again, and told me right when I was on the table, said, no, your plumbing is fine. There's nothing wrong with you. Until he said, you still got the electrical problem. And I told him, I said, it doesn't bother me always. I said, just sometimes. He said, it's always there. It's always there. He said, we'll take care of it.
You just don't feel it all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a simple procedure, right?
What's that?
I said, when are they going to work on it?
I got an appointment Thursday, and then I don't know. I'll have to make another appointment, or they'll schedule me with this Dr. Hamilton. He's the electrical cardiologist specialist or whatever. And
so is it pretty simple procedure, in and outer?
They'll probably, I think they'll go in my groin and go into my heart again and with a laser, and if they can identify what's causing what. I got what they call PVCs, and it's an irregular heartbeat, really. You should see it on the EKG. It looks crazy, and I can feel it real bad sometimes just at night, and so if they can figure that out, I don't know how all that works, but if they can get rid of those, then that's fine. They said the worst thing can happen is they have to give me a pacemaker. And right now, I don't feel like it's a big deal. I mean, I don't. At night, like right now, it doesn't bother me at all. But sometimes at night when I come in and I sit down on my chair right after I eat, it feels bad. I mean, it makes me real anxious too, because I feel it doing weird things, and then I get anxious, and then that makes it worse. So,
and here comes the heart attack.
Yeah,
again.
They were wrong.
Jeez.
Yeah.
I was going to tell you, my father-in-law had one of those stress tests. They ran him on a treadmill and told him, said, you're perfectly healthy. Sit down in the chair and we'll unhook you. And before he sat down, he had a heart attack and died. And they shocked him. They shocked him. They shocked him and brought him back. And when they shocked him, they didn't have any of the little pads that they put on you before they shock you. So they just had to shock him raw skin and burn him. And somebody tried to get him to sue the hospital. He said, "Fool, they saved my life. You think I want to sue them for saving my life? I think I would rather them waited till they ran upstairs and got some pads or something to go on them." But then that night, they said he had a heart attack and died again. My wife and her sister, nobody was there, and her mother was outside the room. A nurse had come in, and he said he could feel his heart stopping that time, and was trying to tell the nurse but couldn't get anything out of his mouth. And said when he woke up, she was astraddle of him on the bed doing compressions, and said he looked at her and said, "If you'll stop that, I'll breathe." and said she like to fainted when he said that.
See,
I'd get my heart going, I guess.
in
Wait, is he still
2001,
alive?
No, he passed away. How long's your daddy been gone now? But he lived how long after that? After the heart attack?
He sounds like he used up all 9 lives.
yeah,
He's been gone 10 years, and he lived about 25 after the heart attack.
really.
But it killed the body. It killed, no, 15. It's been about 25 since he had the heart attack. But it killed the bottom part of his heart when he had that heart attack. It killed the whole bottom half.
See, in 2001, I was running hard. I don't even like to talk about it. I was wild. I was
Rodeo guy.
I was rodeoing. I was irrigating. I was on about my 3rd or 4th night with only a couple hours of sleep. And I was trying to quit dipping snuff. I chewed snuff. I was drinking tons of beer. And I was chewing Nicorette gum, trying to quit dipping snuff. And I came in from irrigating. And I laid down on the couch. And I woke up and I was having a dream that the house was floating away because I was irrigating. And I jumped out of bed and I felt my heart go crazy. And I went out and checked the water and I came back in. My jaws were hurting. My arm was hurting. I thought, I'm having a heart attack. And I went in, took aspirin, took some aspirin right away because that's what I've always heard you're supposed to do. And my wife was in bed and I got her up and I said, I think I'm having a heart attack. Something's wrong. And I said, check this out. And you could see in my chest, you could see my heart going like that in my chest. And called 911 and they sent an ambulance out. It's when I lived on the farm and they sent the ambulance out and they did an EKG right there on the couch. My heart was going 200 and something beats a minute. It was, and what it amounts to is fluttering. It was just fluttering. And they said, oh, we got to get this guy to the hospital right away. And they couldn't get me. They got me on the gurney, but the one guy couldn't lift up the side. So I told him, I said, man, if you back that ambulance up right to that door, I said, I can get in it. And so they did. And I got in it and they took me to the hospital. I was in the emergency room overnight. They were scared to move me. And they wanted to shock me to take my heart back to a normal rhythm. And there happened to be Dr. Cannon. He was a cardiologist there. And he just happened to be there. This was like at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. And he told him, he said, no, don't do that. Don't do that. And so they put me in ICU. I was in intensive care for 2 days. And finally, my heart converted to a normal rhythm. But when they moved me from the gurney, whatever, to the intensive care bed, my heart went bananas. And I mean, they those pats, those plastic things, or whatever, those stickies, man, this nurse just slapped one on my chest, rolled me over on my, like that, slapped one on my back. One nurse came running across the room, said, that's a fatal heart rhythm. And another one come running in. She looked at me and she said, he's still conscious. And I said, yeah, and you guys are not helping my heart rhythm any at all here. They just looking at me, but I never lost consciousness. And I said, let's just calm down. I said, I can get it to go down a little bit. And but if they would have shocked me because of the electrical pathways in my heart, it would have killed me. It would have blown my heart up.
Oh my
because
God.
the shock would have killed it, would have short circuited, because that's what had happened, and my heart had short circuited. And finally, I never will forget that big old nurse. I had to use the restroom, and they gave me a bedpan, and she was a big old mean nurse. I said, I can walk to that bathroom right there. They said, no, you got to use this bedpan. You can't get out of that bed. And I don't know if you guys have been in intensive care. There was other guys around me and everything. And I got mad and I threw that bedpan. I said, I threw it across the room and it banged around and it landed right there next to the bed. And finally, there was no choice. I had to grab the bedpan. When I reached down to grab that bedpan, my heart converted to a normal rhythm. and
Hey, perfect.
nurses come running into the room because they have you hooked up where they can monitor you from the nurses station. Said, your heart converted. And I said, yeah. I said, and I need to use this bedpan right now. I need some privacy. But it was
Oh my God.
but then they went in my heart and did catheter ablation. And what it was is I was born with what they call Wolff Parkinson White syndrome, WPW, and it's just extra electrical pathways in your heart that can short circuit. So, and I'm sure this is similar to that. So there you go. There's my story. I got to go home.
It was a good night.
I thought you were going to tell us that the Nicorette gum caused your heart to race like that.
I blame it on the Nicorette gum. I do. That was the deal, because not only was I chewing Nicorette gum, I was chewing like 10 pieces at a time.
Ah,
That's
Oh
what
God.
that's what I thought you were telling us, that you had way overdone it on that. Now my dad used to smoke. He worked midnight with the Department of Corrections, and at that time, years ago, I can remember when he quit smoking. But that time, 30 years ago, you could smoke in the prison.
Yeah.
It didn't, they didn't worry about the inmates. He could smoke in the prison. So he smoked up there all night. He come home and farmed all day, smoked all day. I never seen my dad without a cigarette. He would sit at the bar in our kitchen and would have a cigarette in his hand like this and a fork in his right hand, and that's how he ate supper.
Couldn't give up that
Couldn't
nicotine.
get up. And he smoked 5 to 6 packs of cigarettes a day because he would go to bed about 3 o'clock in the afternoon and get back up at 11 to go to work. 3 or 4 o'clock and get back up at 11 and go to work. And when he quit using atomic fireballs. Every time he wanted a cigarette, he ate an atomic fireball.
What's an atomic fireball?
It was just
it's a big
you don't know what an
gobstopper
atomic
that
fireball
tastes
is?
like cinnamon.
Just
Like
a
a cinnamon
piece of
hot
gum?
gobstopper.
It's like a gobstopper, like he's saying. It's
Yeah.
just a hard piece of candy.
Okay. And he quit.
It's hot, spicy.
He eats so many of them that he burnt the inside of his mouth.
Well,
he used those to quit smoking cigarettes?
He used it as like a crutch. He quit cold turkey, but instead
smoking's a habit.
And trying to break that
habit of
Well,
it's the habit of also smoking, putting that cigarette in your mouth. My gal used to smoke, right. So she had to chew gum, or she eats ice like crazy. But the nicotine they get over, but it's that.
Well, the habit lasts a while, but the nicotine. Let me tell you what, I had a hard time quitting because I dipped Copenhagen like, man. I mean, I loved it, and
he was
a
crafty son of a gun when he quit.
Of all the things, and when I roped, I drank a ton of beer. I mean, it just went hand in hand. If you roped, you drank beer, and I really got where I liked my beer, and but I quit it, and I never crave it. But I still, every now and then, I'll see them put a dip of snuff in their mouth, and my mouth waters a little bit. I think, man, I'd like
Brett,
this one dip.
Brett, you said you like your whiskey when you're camping once in a while?
Yeah, just a couple shots.
So where I buried my brother, where I did a video about going up there and whatever, spread of that. We went up there this weekend and cleaned the trail up, and we killed 2 bottles of whiskey, and I even drank a couple beers. Thank God no one videoed. I'm gonna tell you though, my daughter had to walk me to my tent, and I had cow crap all over me because my son gave me beers and said, I'm gonna make you throw up. And I said, I ain't gonna throw up. I was sitting in my chair. It was like midnight, and I said, man, you won. And I got up and went and threw up, and I laid on the ground just to look up in the air and relax. And I rolled over and as when my daughter took me to my tent, and she looked down and she says, "What is that?" And she took a little video of it where I had cow crap all over one of my legs. But then her dog pooped in her tent. She posted that too. So everybody thought I pooped myself, and that was me pooping on laying in it. So everybody's like, "Oh my." And I text my old lady all night. I text her, and it was weird stuff. So she in the morning she called and was like, "You guys still alive?" Like, then they all seen the pictures on Snapchat because we got a little group, and there was poop in the tent, poop all over me. Everybody thought,
sounds like a
I don't
viral
drink.
video.
I've been drunk. Yeah, thank God no one recorded half of that because there was 3 of us that, my other son and my daughter were the only one smart ones. And my other son and me and my father-in-law was there with us. He called his wife at midnight and don't remember nothing. He walked off to go to bed. And my daughter says, "Where are you going?" "Go to bed." And he starts walking. Like, "That's not my truck." He was walking out in the forest. She's like, "No, it's over there." So he turned around to go back to bed. She's like, "No, that's my dad's tent." So she had to walk him to bed, put him in his tent so he didn't get lost.
I've got a little bitty flask. It's just a little flask, and it's got my "Born 100 Years Too Late" thing on it.
Engraved. Nice.
Yeah, I bought it, and I mean, that little flask will last me 3 or 4 nights.
Hey,
I just take two
smart.
little shots because I can't. I love to sit by the fire and sip the whiskey. I don't know why, but I can't drink very much of it. I can't, because then I'll end up pooping in my tent.
I don't either, and I don't drink. And I don't like alcohol, but that vanilla whiskey I can drink, and I'll take a little bit, and I'll take a couple shots on an empty stomach before I eat. So I get that quick buzz, and it just kind of lasts.
Smart
Get that
move.
relaxing.
Smart move.
Yeah, one smart Saturday night. Oh, woke up, took some aspirin right away.
So is there going to be a video?
There's not a video of me falling down drunk, rolling in cow crap, but
That's
there's
what
a video.
makes a good video.
I was
Come on, man.
drunk.
Entertainment
I was supposed
value.
to get a little buzz, and then my son handed me a beer, and I hate beer, and I drank 2 beers after a bottle. It wasn't good. And then I said I have some peach whiskey in there because we drank the 1 bottle, and we just killed. Yeah. I don't condone it, and I won't drink now for a long time. A long time. So.
See, I even smoked a pipe. I had have my little cup. It's in the other room. Put a little whiskey in it. Smoke my pipe. Take a little by the campfire. Just I don't know. It just feels relaxing to me. I do still have my cigar. I'm not gonna smoke this cigar until after I get the ablation.
Nice.
Then I'll smoke it. It's probably all dried out now.
I'll go through a phase of smoking cigars, and I'll buy them kind of not expensive, but $8, $10, $12 cigars. But I'll smoke them $5. Well, they're not $5 anymore. The $8 backwoods or the Black and Milds. I always have kind of a pack, and we'll just kind of. But every once in a while, I'll go spend $40 a week on cigars, and that will last me a month. And then I'll get a real hot one that will get me feeling sick, and I won't. Just like whiskey, I'm done with whiskey for a while. Long while.
Those backwoods cigars, they're cheap cigars, but they're good cigars.
It's not a bad one.
I like
they're
cutting
hand
those
rolled,
open, dumping all the stuff out of the middle, and rolling up a blunt.
Not me. Now I
Like
do
Snoop
know
Dogg.
a few people. I do know a few people that will, but not me. Not me.
I've never been high on marijuana, and I don't think I'd ever want to be. I don't know what I'd do.
Me
Oh, I have.
Shrooms.
I have.
I just never. I sold it in high school. That's about it.
And I get paranoid. I get all anxious with it.
Yeah, I've never done it.
I calf roped when I was young, and then I team roped after I got older a lot.
Well, we better get off before this gets any deeper.
I was gonna tell you that I used to smoke and chew, and I have
at the same time.
I don't. Well, no, I don't think
I know
everybody
people that have.
My granddad, my grandfather would. He'd put a chew in and smoke.
Oh yeah.
But I can. I can smell a Marlboro Light cigarette sometimes, and sometimes it smells wonderful, and other times it smells just like, oh, get that away from me.
Yep.
But I have been driving before and not see anybody put a chew in. I used to chew Redman Select or Lancaster,
Mm-hmm.
and I've been driving down the road before and just taste it like it's in my mouth. The taste will roll through my mouth.
I probably even should tell this story. I've been sitting at a bar before, sitting at the bar with a cigarette, a dip of snuff, a shot of tequila, and a beer, sitting there, just being a idiot, really. But I was young, and arm wrestling. We used to go down there to the Blue Moon and arm wrestle.
Blue Moon. The Blue Moon in Arizona was a lesbian bar.
Well,
I doubt it was the same one.
Those lesbians
that's
are pretty
where he
tough arm
was.
wrestlers, let me tell you.
Probably lose arm wrestling.
Where else would you go to arm wrestle?
Wrestle.
How many years ago has that been that you were arm wrestling?
This was probably in about 1990, 94, 95, something like that.
Okay. It wasn't as long ago as the movie, but the first thing that hit my mind was Over the Top.
Sylvester Stallone. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the first thing that hit my mind. Brett in there wrestling, arm wrestling. Brett was probably the guy that drank the quart of Quaker State. You remember that guy?
If y'all seen me in it was about 93, 92, 93.
That's when I graduated.
I was working in Kansas. I had hair that came down to here, and I'd wear a bandana around my head. And I was working about 8 guys on the Fort Riley base there, Junction, Kansas. Going to the Devil's Tail after work every night. It was wild, wild times.
Chris, did you say you graduated in 92?
3.
93? You're older than me then.
I'm 48.
Yeah.
I was 3 years old
but
in 1993.
But I got all my hair. Most of it. It's getting thin.
My wife's the same age. She's 4 years older than me. I was 3 years old. I don't think y'all heard that. That's what Nick said. I was 3 years old.
Yeah, I heard it. I thought, man, it's a baby. I was born in 61 and graduated in 79 from high school.
Are you my dad?
It's possible.
I was born in 79.
I got around. Not like Chris. I got around, but not like Chris.
I'm still waiting for some kids to show up. See me on this.
My oldest daughter is 42 years
in
old.
The chat. Oh my God, that's my dad.
And my grandson is 20 years old. That's what I was on one of y'all's lives that you did. One of these Monday night lives, I got on for a little while, and somebody in the comments asked, "Where's that old man?" And I thought, "What old man?"
Who's he talking about?
Yeah.
Well,
You
guys,
just gotta own it. You're like an old wizard.
Hey, I'm 35. I'm 35 away from 1,000.
Oh, snap!
You're what?
Awesome.
I'm
35 subscribers.
Subscribers away from 1,000.
When was your last video?
Oh, weeks
2
ago.
months ago.
He has the best niche of anybody, and
He's doing it
do
in easy mode. He's doing it in easy mode.
I have 1,045 now.
Most of my views and almost all my likes and subscribes are coming off my very first video.
That's the way it works. But
everything.
What is that video about?
It's about trying to salt cure venison.
Make another one. Salt curing a bear.
Well, I'm going to do
We don't-
if I get a bear, I'm going to do a brine video. I'm going to do a liquid brine on video because I found a recipe for that. And me and George talked last week after the live. We're going to hook up, and I'm going to go up and hunt with him 2 or 3 days this year.
Oh,
So
good.
Well, there got to be
hopefully
something.
we can do a couple.
But is it like deer season or what's going on right now? There got to be somebody that lets you brine up their bear, or they got to have something you can work with for them and then make a video about it. Don't wait to get one.
Only thing we've got going on right now is dove and squirrel.
Well, do what I do. Go
Dove,
poach them
squirrel.
off my bait pile.
Dove
son's gonna
and
be game
squirrel.
warden.
Only thing. Our deer archery season opens in October. Our deer muzzleloader will open earlier part of November. Our rifle will open the later part of November.
Somebody
And
has
our
something in their freezer
fire season opens in December.
that they want to clear out before they get some more meat. Somebody. You know what I mean?
It's just getting them to, part with it, I guess. But
Well,
I don't have anything.
you-
I don't have anything whole. Everything I've got to cut up. So.
Yeah, I got a bunch of bear roast. That's about it.
You're a
I
little
got
bit
some
far
elk
away
roast.
from me.
Yeah. Not for long. Couple more weeks.
No.
2 more weeks.
Couple more weeks. I'm excited too.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Guys, I got a
Yep.
special video coming out this next Sunday, I think.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
Trying to get it done. So, and then
You got a
hopefully.
teaser?
Huh?
You got a little
oh.
teaser? What it's gonna?
No, I don't. I might.
Give us 3 words to describe it. 3.
Yeah.
3 words.
Great Big Tom.
There you go.
Oh, that's what I like to hear.
So,
All it takes.
You got anything to do with this last video?
no, that one got
I know
away.
which video he's talking about.
That one got away. I jumped a lion the other day. I shouldn't have been hunting really, but I was just running the dogs and jumped a lion, but I didn't catch it.
Cool.
So
I may be
thought
going
maybe
down.
I thought maybe you went back. I didn't know.
no, I told a kid that has some of my dogs. He went up there and he couldn't get it located. I was obligated. I had to go do some work for the guy who took over my business, and I had to drive all the way up to Farmington, so I couldn't go the next day. But
I'm gonna try to get the Globe this week. A couple days.
Yeah.
Run some lion. White Bears closed down.
and I can't wait the
That's
20.
what
We really aren't supposed to be hunting our dogs until after the 25th because of the archery
'Cause of-
hunters. But
Yeah.
where I go exercise my dogs, there's no archery hunters anyway. I mean, it's pretty wide open stuff. But
Cook a raccoon.
who do what?
He says cook a raccoon.
I've
I've
thought
seen him.
about it.
I've seen him do it.
I've thought about it. I may do that. I may do that this fall when coon season opens. Raccoon season opens.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Guys,
All right.
thank
Gotta
you,
go night-night.
everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Next Monday night,
Nice to you all.
somebody else, if one of you guys feel like hosting it,
Doesn't matter to me. I have fun.
whatever.
I think we should get Cody back on to finish his story. He teased us before he left.
Yeah,
Definitely.
baboons. Was it baboons?
I wouldn't. I'll talk. I'd
Baboons.
get him on again. I'd
Yeah.
love to listen to him again.
Cool.
Little boon
We'll see.
hunting.
See what's going
See if
on.
He's available. Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be,
All
and
right,
then
guys.
in the week after that, I'll be gone. So there you go. I'm going to a Summit video thing, so I can learn how to make good
yeah.
videos.
Nice.
Oh, cool.
So, okay, guys, thank you very much.
All right.
Appreciate it, John,
Hey, everybody.
Good
Have a
night.
good
Nicholas,
week.
Chris. Onward and upward,
Good.
You guys.
Till next Monday.